Hello there, good afternoon. Welcome to News Today. My name is Gifty Andwapia. Our top stories this hour. West African heads of state are meeting in Yamoussoukro over the economic partnership agreement with the European Union and political and security issues in West Africa. In business, insurance companies have until end of December to settle claims with indebted clients or consider monies owed them as bad debt. In international news, the search for the missing Malaysian plane moves to a new part of the Indian Ocean as experts believe it ran out of fuel earlier than thought. Those are the headlines. We'll bring you the details shortly. Please stay with us. Welcome now to the details. And personnel of the Ghana National Fire Service Friday morning contained the blaze that razed down dozens of market stores and shops at the Makula No. 2 market here in Acquah. Firefighters initially had challenges accessing the market when the fire started. The situation was compounded by the unavailability of water in nearby hydrants. According to Acting Chief Fire Officer Brigadier General John Bosco Guiri, combustible material stored by traders fueled the flames, causing extensive damage to property. There were no reported casualties though. Friday's fire is the second fire outbreak at the Makula No. 2 market in a year. In June last year, the same market was ravaged by fire suspected to be the work of arsonists. The Acquah Regional Police Command on Monday, March 25, detained a woman on suspicion she was attempting to burn down some stores at the Makula market. The security men later handed her over to the police. The suspect appeared to be mentally unstable, according to the police, and she was subsequently referred to the Acquah Psychiatric Hospital for examination.
As usual, they were constrained by access, And if you look around, you observe that some hoses got bent. The first responders went in with those hoses to try to control the fire, and they were overwhelmed. So that's how the hoses got bent. They had to retreat and reorganize and go to fight the fire. There are combustible materials in the market, used clothing, and worst of all, gas cylinders. Cylinders with gas inside is there for you to see. And these are the things that we have been talking about. And yet people bring them into the market. They cook and leave them and go. And they are laden with gas. So the little fire, then it becomes an inferno because all those things explode. And you endanger the lives of the firefighters. Very dangerous. Around this vicinity, there is no water, so the hydrants are dry. So they have to go as far as 37 Military Hospital to replenish before they come back here. So they have to travel a distance to go and replenish. And the fire is not waiting for us to go and bring the water. So these are some of the challenges that we face.
But I think we cannot discount the fact that there was news this week that somebody was attempting to do this very thing. And police arrested the individual. But somewhere, somehow, this event has happened.
We've written to the court to give us an order to send her to the Meta Hospital to assess her. You can see the photograph as you saw in the newspapers that her speech is not coherent. And then she behaves abnormally. We don't want to conclude that she's an abnormal person, so it is the Meta Hospital that can decide whether she has any mental problem or otherwise.
Well, the president of the Greater Accra Market Women Association has called on government to ensure that the issue of market fires is dealt with.
Na fidia ya manu ekuna ya ekun ya try ya kuma by force afri mu because aha na edi ye bibia nti sa asem tu ye we aka ho amiensa dia be no mukoye ti yesre dia ha ye na ye yapa se this week ya chi oba no wo shopping mall ho ye chi ni wi a ye si wo bodam sabi time a ye di chi no hospital be na ye di no call ansan ye hu say wo bodam obi a wa hye weavon wa hye nails wo bodam na se wo bodam on say ye the petrol go so many stores no a obetumi apagya nti yesre yenhwemu ma.
Well, that's Mercy Nijan, and she's leader of the market women at the Makola market. And what she's essentially saying is that they want government to investigate further. She also spoke about the woman who was arrested and is alleged to have mental illness. She's saying that it's really costing a lot to them as market women, and so essentially she wants government to look into this matter further. Now, the Ghana Infrastructure Fund Committee has presented its maiden policy document to President John Dramani Mahama, spelling out how the funds should be mobilized, regulated and disbursed. Leader of the committee, Acquah, says the draft bill should be in Parliament in April and hopefully be passed by June. The Ghana Infrastructure Fund was announced by President Mahama in his State of the Nation address this year, and the committee formed thereafter to set out modalities. Explaining the framework, Acquah said, among others, the recently passed 2.5% tax will be one of the sources of funding.
We also know from the budget that we're going to get 25% of the annual budget funding amount, which is applied to amortization and direct infrastructure expenditure. Any inflows arising out of monies on lent to SOEs by the Ministry of Finance and repaid by those SOEs would also be put into this fund.
It will also accrue monies made from disposal of state assets, grants and donations, investments and any other monies determined by the Finance Minister. These should be paid within at least 2 weeks after each month. 10% of the amount will be set aside for what he called impact projects.
By impact projects, we mean funds which necessarily would not give the rate of return that we are looking at, but which are necessary for the development of the country and will also lead to the re-election of the political parties. We believe that health should be part of the impact projects, where cheaper funds may be used. Less stringent measures may be applied to them because health is everything.
The fund, according to the committee, should focus on infrastructure that is commercial in nature to rake in returns.
So, for example, if we invest in a road, if we were to do a 6-lane road from Accra through Kumasi, through Tamale to Bolga to Paga, 6-lane, we should expect that this road will pay for itself within a period of between 15 and 25 years. This road can only pay for itself if Ghanaians understand, and the press allow Ghanaians to understand that people should pay tolls on those roads.
He mentioned the areas to be covered under the fund.
We are talking of energy, water and waste services, transportation, telecommunications, oil and gas infrastructure, agricultural infrastructure, mining infrastructure, educational infrastructure, housing, roads and highways, the manufacturing and construction of goods, equipment, plants and buildings, and then infrastructure component of industrial projects.
President Mahama said this will give the country a better control of its debt portfolio.
It's going to give us a better debt sustainability than we have had in the past. I believe this development is a very positive one for this country, and we're going to go by the roadmap that you have indicated in the report. We were bent on approving it in cabinet today as a result of a few developments. Cabinet has been postponed to Monday, which is still a good thing. It is going to give the members of Cabinet the opportunity to go through the report over the weekend and be able to make a meaningful discussion of the report when Cabinet takes it on Monday. As soon as that is done, we shall arrange for it to be tabled in Parliament.
It is expected to be passed in Parliament as a body independently regulated by a board of directors and an advisory council. It will also see the recruitment of staff to man it. Gifty Andopia, Joy News, Flagstaff House. While ensuring discipline on our roads has been a major challenge to most traffic wardens here in Acquah and specifically Tema, the Tema Regional Police Command has been facing similar challenges, especially on the Accra-Tema motorway. Chief Superintendent Odro Ameni spoke with Joy News and says his outfit is determined to clamp down on the menace, as difficult as it is. The situation on the motorway, first of all.
The motorway, as you were seeing it, that was when the bridge was being repaired. There was a lot of problems and recalcitrant drivers. You see them driving on the road of the motorway, shoulders of the road, of which it spoils the road. So we made it a point to get them arrested and then we take them to court. We've been arresting them, but sometimes there are the offenses are minor, and those people, we do warn them, we give them warning letters, and those warning letters, we have copies. So if you've been caught doing the same thing again, meaning you are a recalcitrant driver, and that one you are not going to be forgiven and you are not going to be given a warning letter, but rather you will be taken to court as others. So most especially those who drive dangerously, who drive on the shoulders of the road, who drive when talking on mobile phones and other things, it is very dangerous. So those people, when we get immediately, we take them to court and then we process them and take them to court. Then court will decide on their fate.
Now, that is like dealing with those who have already committed the crime. Now, what has your outfit done to ensure that it doesn't happen at all? Because half the time I've seen policemen on the motorway, but you still see people driving on the shoulders of the road and they just go.
That is the problem. You see that we are working understaffed. So we can't get men all along the motorway up to Accra. So we look at the vantage point, then I put the men there so that they will ensure sanity. So somebody will be driving on the shoulders of the road coming, and when he sees that there is one policeman there, he begins to look for a way to enter. So that is the problem. So we are doing it, we are trying our best, but it is only we are having so much recalcitrant drivers within the society. So that is the problem, the challenges that we are facing.
So what do you intend to do? Well, we have a lot of recalcitrant drivers. What can be done to sensitize these drivers to know that, listen, if you do this, you will not go scot-free?
Yeah, that is what we are doing. Even what we are doing is part of it, the educational programs. But I am saying, what I have been saying always is, we have a problem. Now that we are doing this program, you can see how many people are listening to this program. It is a problem. Or when it is educational program on the radio, you see, let's make random check and stop about 10 cars and see how many people are listening to the program. They will be switching on to a station which is playing music. Yes, they don't want stations which are giving them educational programs. So that is our challenges. And then I move to station to educate them. But drivers, they don't want to waste even 30 minutes to listen to anything from anybody because they are going to make sales. That is what they will tell you. on wasting time, it is going against them. So it is a problem for me. So sometimes I have to inform the GPRTU chairman and the secretaries that please, I beg them, me going to educate them, I have to go and beg them that they should wait, and I am coming to educate them, and I will go. But the few ones who will come and listen, they see that yes, there are so many things they are doing on the road of which they were thinking it was right, but now it is wrong.
Away from the road, let's do some energy. Now, Ghana is currently undergoing load shedding due to low water levels in both Bui and Akosombo dams, as well as gas supply shortfall from West Africa gas pipeline. Ghana currently produces about 2,800 megawatts. Government in 2013 said it has in place measures and projects intended to meet Ghana's 5,000 megawatts power target. But an energy policy and research firm, Kite, is of the view government will not be able to meet its planned target of producing 5,000 megawatts of power by 2016. Energy analyst and executive director at Kite, Ishmael Ajakum, joined us yesterday on Skype. And he's joining us again. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon.
Now, you say we can't meet the planned 5,000 megawatt target by 2016. Why do you say that?
Thank you to your listeners, and thank you for having me. Well, the facts are obvious. It takes a minimum of 24 months to build a new power plant. So if you consider the fact that we have started those new plants, there is no way we'll be able to meet the 5,000 megawatt target unless, there's no way we'll be able to do that. So that's the reason why I said we wouldn't be able to meet those targets.
Are you not being rather pessimistic with that?
No. This is not, it's engineering. And you cannot do much about it if you haven't started by now. So let's take our installed capacity, if it's around 3,200, installed capacity, even if it's 3,500. You ought to have started those projects, those 1,500 new generation projects by now to be able to deliver them in 2015 or 2016. If that is not done, there's nothing magical about that. You can use less than the stipulated period to construct a new power plant. So that's the reason why I'm not being an optimist, but I'm a pessimist, but those are the facts. It's engineering, you can't do much about it.
And in that case, what will be your suggestion to authorities as to how to deal with it?
You see, we have to start now. You see, it takes 24 months. So, if we haven't started contracting or getting the private sector, the IPPs to come in, if we haven't signed agreements with them, if we don't sign them now, it means that any delay will translate into a delay in the completion of any new generation capacity that we want to bring online. It takes planning.
But
planning.
All right. But are you aware that government has signed? There's been a lot of assignments or let me say programs that we've covered that indicated that government is in the process of signing these all these agreements with the IPPs that you've spoken about. Are you aware of those?
I am aware, but the point I'm making is that have they started building the plant? Have they gotten to completion of the deal? Do you know whether they secured funding to start the project? No. Signing those agreements are the easiest. We heard about Asogli and all. It's not the biggest issue. If we really want to see those plants installed and added to our generation mix and options, we want to see those plants being constructed. If we don't start now, we wouldn't be able to meet those targets. And I tell you, even in the case of where we had secured the funding, it delayed for 3 years. Okay? So, and this was a government of Ghana project that delayed for 3 years. Meanwhile, we have secured the loan for the Bui project. So the private sector people, if they haven't started the construction now as we speak, it doesn't matter how many agreements we've signed. Most of them are memorandums of understanding, and they are not actual contracts and things that translate into the commencement of projects.
Since you are a research firm, we should expect you to give us some information on that. Have you gone into it to find out whether indeed these projects that have been signed or these projects for which MOUs have been signed have actually taken off?
No, they haven't taken off. And apart from
you can say that for a fact?
Yes. I mean, they haven't taken off.
So you have this brilliant idea. Have you reached the authorities with this idea so that maybe with these suggestions that you have, it should be able to help us move a step forward?
Oh, we do make sure that the right people we need to talk to, we are talking to. Most of our workshops, the dissemination workshops, are in the public. We invite parliamentarians. We work closely with the Ministry of Energy. I sit on the technical committee of the Energy Commission. So most of these things are known to the government because as if they don't know about that. VRA knows, and Mr. Fletcher, anytime he sits on there, talks about the need for us to take action now. So I'm not saying anything new. The government knows that action will have to be taken today. There are people in the Ministry of Energy who know what I'm talking about. So it's one thing knowing what needs to be done, another thing taking concrete action. We need to get the people to start constructing those power plants. When they are coming in, they want assurances, they want guarantees. People want, because you see, ECG is the one who are going to take the power from them. They are not too sure about whether ECG is in the position to pay them. You heard these guys recently who are going to construct the solar plants in the Western region, saying that they need government to guarantee the contract they're signing with ECG. Why is that necessary? The reason is that ECG, who are the obvious off-takers of the power that these activities are going to produce, they are not in a sound financial position. ECGs are always in red. They are not strong to be able to even sign contracts. Even though they are signing those contracts, if I am an IPP, I will have double. I will want to be very sure that at the end of the day, I'm going to get my money paid. I strongly complain that ECG is owing them. Why? Because ECG is not in a sound financial position. So that's the challenge that the IPPs are facing. The problem is there are no restrictions in this country as to whether IPPs can come in or not. The power sector reform that we embarked upon in 1997 freed that and created that atmosphere for people to come in. But when the power is produced, who buys the power? Now it looks like ECG appears to be the only credible off-taker. But they also don't have a very strong financial position for people to be very confident to come and commit their money to those projects.
Right,
that's
Ishmael,
why they're asking for government guarantees.
Right, Ishmael, let me ask you, you spoke about solar energy. What work have you done in that area, and what can you tell us? Is it sustainable in this part of the world?
Solar is always, I mean, we'll be talking, I don't know what you mean by sustainable, but in terms of the sustainability of solar energy as a clean technology, it's sustainable because it's environmentally friendly. The problem with solar is that it's still relatively more expensive.
Yeah.
You take the VRA 3 megawatt plant that we have been commissioning recently, it cost us about $8 million to get just 2 megawatts of energy being generated. And this one is only happening during the time of the day where demand is not too high. And we're getting the energy now, but I mean, it not meet our problem because in the evening where you need the peak load is a problem. The sun is off, so those plants are not generating.
But how feasible is it on a large scale?
It's a difficult thing, Gitsi, because you see, those plants, just a 2 megawatt plant, is occupying a total area of about 4.3 hectares. Okay?
Yeah.
So 4.3 hectares of land. You don't know what the previous use of the land was. Are these agricultural land or they are barren land? So if 2 megawatts is taking about 4 hectares, you can imagine if you want to do it on a very large scale. The solution, I believe, is for us to start making use of our rooftops as is being done. And there are policies that are in regulatory measures that are soon going to be published that allows you, for example, to put solar panels on your building, and then they have what they call net metering, so that if you are not using the solar you are generating, you pump it into the grid, And at the end of the month, there's a balance between, they strike a balance between how much energy you use and how much energy you pump into the system. And you pay the difference, or the government or the utility pays you the difference.
Yeah.
It's something that the Energy Commission is working on. But large-scale solar plants, I'm afraid it's going to take us a while before we get there. But there are other renewables that we probably could be looking at. We could be looking at, unfortunately, wind that is very competitive with the conventional system. We don't have favorable wind regimes in Ghana. So we can generate a lot of energy from wind. Elsewhere, they have very good wind regimes, and wind power is being generated at very, very competitive price. In fact, you go to South Africa today, the unit cost of producing electricity from wind is cheaper than gas.
Right.
Okay. But we don't have the wind, so we have solar, but we can't do it on a very large scale. So we should be looking at other technologies like waste-to-energy projects, like biomass-fired power plants. Those are more likely, and I am a strong believer in waste-to-energy projects. Why? Because we have a big problem with how we manage our waste.
Sure.
So if we can use that to generate electricity, we solve two problems. We deal with environmental issues as well as our energy problem.
And I'm sure that government knows that, because it appears to be on that path already. But you, I think, are at a better position, seeing that you are on the Energy Commission, to champion this from there, because that is where the policies are made. Thank you very much. Ishmael Ajekum is the Executive Director at Kite, and they do not believe that Ghana can meet its 5,000 megawatt power target by 2016. You're still watching News Today with me, Gifty Ando Apia. We'll be right back. Please stay. News Today. Welcome back from that break. Now, the Ghana Union of Traders Association has presented a petition to President John Mahama seeking policy reviews on newly introduced taxes, the invasion of the local retail market by foreigners, and the free fall of the cedi, among others. According to the GUTA president, the matters, if not addressed urgently, will hamper governance of the country.
The executive of GUTA said the increment of taxes and addition of new ones will only result in a lot more corrupt practices that rip the nation of the needed tax resources.
The activities of people at the ports must seriously be looked at, so that we don't get, people condoling and conniving with officials and then getting more money as against what we pay to the state. I think if it happens and continues, then it will be very difficult for your governance to operate.
They spoke about VAT charges on banking, dollar index on import duties, as well as the continuous depreciation of the local currency and the diverse effects on businesses. They also requested for funding for the pension scheme for the informal sector.
The dollar index is what is being used as a determinant in terms of paying one's duty at the port of entry. And now, if we are saying we don't want dollarization, then it means it has to affect the clearance of goods at the ports.
They expressed a vote of no confidence in a tax force set up to regulate foreign invasion of the local market, hence their withdrawal.
As a result of the ineffectiveness of the task force, GUTA have written officially to the Minister of Trade and Industry to withdraw our membership from the task force, with the intention of going on these foreigners to make sure that they leave at all costs. Whether there are laws or not, we are staying with them, and if we think they are creating problem for our businesses, I think we have to also let the authorities know before the unexpected happens.
President Mahama noted they will receive feedback from the presidency soon after the petition is thoroughly studied.
And I'm happy you talked about the Made in Ghana campaign. We want to transform this economy from being an economy that just consumes imported products to an economy that also produces. And so we want to trigger that sense of, manufacturing and industry amongst Ghanaians. And I know that GUTA would be a partner in doing this. But we'll look at it and we'll get back to you as quickly as possible so that we can address some of the concerns that you have raised.
This is the second time the group is meeting with the president. Also at the Flagstaff House was the Commissioner of Domestic Tax Revenue at the Ghana Revenue Authority to receive the president's tax returns for 2013. President Mahama said his action is to prompt Ghanaians to follow suit so that government can deliver on its responsibilities to the citizenry.
I receive royalties on my book, and I also have extra income from some agricultural activity that I undertake with my family, and so I make it a point to file my tax returns every year and pay the tax on it. And I want to urge, all Ghanaians. I mean, most people assume that once you are being deducted on the pay as you earn, the payee schedule, then you don't have an obligation to pay to file your tax. But it's obligatory on every Ghanaian at the end of the tax year to file your tax returns. We all want good roads, we all want quality schools, we all want good health care, we all want, ports that are working efficiently, we want bridges and...
Gifty Andropia, Joy News, Flagstaff House.
Now, insurance companies have until end of December to settle claims with indebted clients or consider monies owed them as bad debt. The directive from the National Insurance Commission is in line with its no premium, no cover policy, which takes effect from the 1st of April this year. According to the Commission, the policy will help insurance companies pay up claims and strengthen the industry.
Premium no cover policy is to ensure that no insurance product is sold to clients on credit.
In the past, we've been selling insurance on credit, such that there were cases when for a whole year the insured or the policyholder would not have paid the premium, and yet we continue to renew the policy, and that has affected the insurance business in Ghana. Insurance companies have liquidity problems, cash flow problems, solvency problems. They cannot meet claims. Even expanding is a problem. So we cannot employ because the insurance companies are not expanding, and that causes confidence problems for the insurance industry because the public has no confidence in the insurance industry because they believe that the insurers do not pay claims. And then we have not also been able to earn the trust of the public.
The National Insurance Commission is also asking insurance companies to settle their claims by the end of December or will have their monies written off thereafter.
Altogether, the public owes the industry about 130 million in premiums, and this is affecting most of the insurance companies, such that some of them are not even solvent. So we're saying that before April, insurance companies may have underwritten insurance on credit. We're saying that by 31st December, all such premium that is outstanding should be recovered or be written off as bad debts. There should not be premium outstanding on any insurance company's balance sheet.
The National Insurance Commission, to enforce the policy, has meanwhile been engaging all stakeholders in the insurance industry to ensure the operations of the policy are well understood and effectively carried out. Abigail Admakwenchi for Joy News.
Now, West African heads of states are meeting in Yamoussoukro, Ivory Coast, for the 44th ordinary session of the ECOWAS Authority of the ECOWAS. Now, the leaders will, among other things, discuss whether to sign or reject the full economic partnership agreements with the European Union leaders, and will also discuss the political and security situation in Mali and the state of the sub-region's integrated maritime strategy. Presidential correspondent Seth Kwame Boateng, who traveled with the president earlier, reported that the heads of state are currently in a meeting which is underway on the matter. A statement he saw, however, indicated that some of the heads of state agree that agreement will be beneficial to the country. You're still watching News Today. When we come back, Baba Tando will bring you the sports news.
I am Baba Tanda. Good afternoon. Time now to talk sports. Courtesy Carvel. Now, reports reaching Joy Sports indicate that Friday, May 2 has been set as a new date for the match-awaited non-title bout between Brima Kamoko, aka Bukumbanko, and Aite Powers. Now, Aite Powers on Thursday morning announced his decision to have the bout postponed from April 18, with reasons given as spiritual. But reliable sources close to the organizers, box office promotions, say after lengthy discussions throughout yesterday, an agreement on May 2 was struck between the fighters, organizers, the broadcasters, Supersports, and other stakeholders. Now, on phone to talk to me about this new date is promoter of the bout, Alex Intiamwa Boachi. He also doubles as the CEO of Box Office Sports Promotions. Hello, Alex. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Rashida.
Alex, we're hearing that May 2 has been penciled down as a tentative date for the Judgment Night bout. Can you confirm this to us?
Yes, yesterday after what happened on the airways with Aite Powers indicating that he's trying to pull us from the bout, you know, we went to his team to discuss lengthy about his decision, and we found out that what we had on the airways was different in that we were being told by the trainer. But at the end of the day, we need to have the fight because it's one fight that all Ghanaians want to watch. And we came into consensus that we have to choose May 2nd for a new date for the bout. But actually, we will be confirming it with a press statement on Monday after we've talked to other partners like Supersport and TV3. Hello?
Alex, hello?
Yeah.
So does it mean that the May 2 date is not fixed? Is it fixed?
Actually, that is, for now, that is what we have in mind. Both the camps of Powers and Kamoko have accepted that date. I've spoken to Supersport, the DSTV general manager. Cecil said it's okay, but we'll be confirming it from South Africa, Supersport. And though the possibility is secondly, we will confirm with the press statement on Monday.
Alex, doesn't this new date distort your plans in any way? Won't it distort your plans in any way?
Actually, you know, we have sold tickets and people are preparing to come to watch this fight. Actually, we are also preparing because we put money into so many things to go back and reschedule things with service providers. Sometimes it comes with, you know, penalty and those kind of things. But actually, we have nothing to do about it because Ghanaians want to watch this. We need to give them this fight. It's been something that sometimes it happens in boxing, not only in Ghana, internationally. You know, Acquah was scheduled to fight Oscar de la Hoya some time ago in December, and later on it was postponed to February. And you know, some of the things, sometimes it happens in boxing. They shall is scheduled to fight on 2nd of April, but now the new date is 9th of April. Sometimes it might come from injury from boxers.
But of course, Alex, the boxers, most of these bouts that you're talking about haven't had their dates changed due to spiritual reasons. But for this one, we understand the spiritual reasons. Will you let Aite Powers go scot-free? Will you penalize him in any way?
Actually, when we went to his team to talk about this issue, you know, the coach told us different thing about their decision. But
what different thing did he tell you?
Actually, the coach made us know that sometime ago during their training, they had a slight injury and they need to break training for some time before to fix that injury. And sometimes it's not good for you to come out with that thing because your opponent might take advantage of your injury if you disclose it, though they didn't tell us what exactly the injury was. But that is what the coach told us. So they say, you know, with the break of the training, it's going to affect their planned activities for the training to prepare fully for the bout. So he told me, Alex, you know, if I want to bring the boxer into this kind of fight, even whatever the decision may be, you know, I have to put up a good performance for people to get something worth their money. And that's the reason why we need to get at least some few days or few weeks in order to make up those lost training days.
All right, Alex Ntiama Wache, thanks very much for your time this afternoon. We're grateful to you. All right, so we're speaking to the promoter of the Judgment Night bout between Brahma Kamuko, a.k.a. Bukumbanku, and Aite Powers. The new tentative date that has been fixed for the fight is May 2nd, and we'll keep you updated in case of any new developments. Away from that, Crystal Palace will have their work cut out when they host Chelsea in the English Premier League on Saturday. The Eagles will head into the Premier League and counter placed just above the relegation zone, 3 points clear of third from bottom Sunderland, having played a game more. All right, still on the English Premier League, and Manchester City will travel to face Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium on Saturday. Now, City need the points for their title push, while the home side can't afford their season to dwindle away because Everton are challenging them for 4th place. All right, now before I take leave of you, the Black Maidens have crashed out of the 2014 Females Under-17 World Cup ongoing in Costa Rica following a penalty shootout defeat to Italy in the quarterfinals last night. Now, Ghana momentarily kept their FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup dreams alive when Ernestina Abambila scored in the 90th minute to level the score at 2-2 and force Italy into penalties to decide their their semi-final matchup. Now, the Europeans came out top from the sports 4-3, however, to set up a date with Spain in the semi-finals. Right, that'll be all for sports for this afternoon. Sports on News Today is brought to you by the client courtesy of Cowbell. My name is Barbara Tando. The news returns after the break. Do stay.
You're welcome back to the news. Now, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission has announced increases in utility tariffs for the next quarter. Electricity will go up by 12.6% and water 6.5%. The new tariffs would, however, take effect on a yet-to-be-announced date. The increases follow a meeting held by stakeholders on Thursday. Director of Public Affairs at PURC, Nanaya Jantua, told Joynews the PURC, having considered changes in the variables used to calculate the automatic adjustment policy, decided to increase the utility prices. According to her, the fall in the value of the cedi and the rise in inflation have all contributed to new hikes in tariffs. She explained, however, that due to challenges consumers are facing over poor power and water supply, the regulatory body has deferred the implementation date for the new tariffs. There is currently load shedding, as you know, that has engulfed the country, with consumers of electricity reeling under the power crisis. Let's do some international news now. The Australian authorities said the search for the missing Malaysian jetliner has shifted over 1,000 kilometers northeast following the emergence of a new credible lead. The Australian Maritime Safety Authority, AMSA, said international investigators have determined the plane was traveling faster and expending fuel quicker than previously estimated, reducing the possible distance it flew. The next search area is about 319,000 kilometers. It is 1,850 kilometers west of the southeastern Australian city of Perth. The extremely remote search location, along with bad weather, have hampered the search for the Boeing 777, which disappeared March 8 with 239 people on board. Well, earlier on, we took you to Yamoussoukro in Ivory Coast, where African heads of state are meeting over the EPA. Seth Kwame Boateng, our presidential correspondent, spoke with Foreign Minister Hannah Tete, and this is what she had to say.
Well, for the last 2 days, we've had the ECOWAS Mediation and Security Council, and we've had the ECOWAS Council of Ministers meeting preceding the President's meeting. And at the Mediation and Security Council meeting, we've discussed the situation in Mali. We've had an update of the situation in Mali. We've had an update of the situation in Guinea-Bissau. We've talked about the Gulf of Guinea maritime security strategy, and that has been in preparation of the security issues that are going to be discussed and agreed on. Then we've gone further to also discuss at the Council of Ministers meeting the ECOWAS Economic Partnership Agreement. And then we've also discussed new appointments to the ECOWAS Court of Justice. And then we've also, basically the ECOWAS Economic Partnership Agreement was one of the main issues for the Council of Ministers meeting. And so having had those discussions, we've now deliberated on the issues and we have put them together in a report for the discussion to take place at the head of state level. What happens is that at the level of the Council of Ministers, where we believe that issues have not been adequately addressed by the ECOWAS Secretariat, we don't allow those issues to go to the head of state level for decision, because it means they are not ready for decision.
Hannah Tete, Foreign Minister, speaking there to Seth Kwame Boateng to end the international news. Let's do some showbiz now. Popular Ghanaian actor Kofi Edu, otherwise known as Ejako, has said that he could be a possible candidate for a political party. And if NPP should decide to choose him as their flag bearer, he would avail himself for the position, but only if all other candidates step down for him.
Ejako was reacting to a cheeky comment by a New Patriotic Party youth organizer, suggesting the comedian is a better presidential candidate for the party than the seasoned economist Dr. Kofi Kunedu Apreku. The Bunahaf regional youth organizer of the NPP, Mr. Kwame Bafo, told a Sunyane-based FM he prefers Ejako to Dr. Kofi Kunedu Apreku as the flag bearer of NPP after Dr. Apreku had made derogatory comments about Nana Akufo-Addo. Ejako, who spoke on our sister station Adom FM, understood the NPP man's comparison as a joke, but indulging himself for a moment, he fantasized that he can win power for any political party in Ghana, including the NPP, if elected as the flag bearer for the party. Ejako explains he has spent the past decade entertaining people through movies and stage concerts and has bonded so well with Ghanaians.
So Ejako will end news today, but let's take a look at our headlines again. West African heads of state are meeting in Yamoussoukro over the economic partnership agreement with the European Union, and political and security issues in West Africa will also be discussed. Insurance companies have until end of December to settle claims with indebted clients or consider monies owed them as bad debt. And international news, the search for the missing Malaysian plane moves to a new part of the Indian Ocean as experts believe it ran out of fuel earlier than thought. It's been a pleasure coming your way. My name is Gifty Ando Apia. Do have a very good afternoon.